to big receivers. You don't have to hit him in the belly. You don't have to hit him in the chest. Watch the reach he puts on. Look at him go up for that ball. His size gives him a tremendous advantage.
See, the Steelers got the challenge flag out. Cowher, he was on the other side of what happened with Miami last week. He ran down.
Pittsburgh has challenged the ruling on the field that the play was a catch. Timeout.
Cowher ran all the way down to make sure the flag got in front of the officials before the snap. This will be the first challenge of the game for Pittsburgh, challenging if this was a catch by Matt Jones.
ESPN continues with the coverage of the toughest league in the world, the Italian Serie A. This Wednesday, Siena takes on Torino team determined to conquer all 3 points. It's Torino against Siena this Wednesday, live on ESPN. Some of the best fights in history were part of the middleweight division, with names like Robinson, Basilio, and LaMotta. Ringside presents Rivalries, Friday on ESPN. As another season comes to an end, the 162-game marathon is giving us a great dash towards the finish line. But this is only the beginning. The best is yet to come as they get ready to play in October. Major League Baseball, Wednesday live on ESPN.
One of cricket's finest ever left-handed batsmen, Graham Pollock became a hero in his home of South Africa by playing a pivotal role in his country's finest hour in Test cricket. Batting alongside Barry Richards in the Durban Test of 1970 against Australia, Pollock hit an inspirational 274, the highest score by a South African at the time, to lead his side to victory. Like other cricketers of his generation, Pollock's Test career was cut short by South Africa's 21-year ban from international cricket. But despite a relatively short Test career, Pollock scored 7 centuries and 11 innings of 50 in 23 matches, finishing his career with a batting average second only to Donald Bradman's. Don't miss the series, The Legends of Cricket, on ESPN.
Okay, was it a catch by Matt Jones or not?
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Receiver controlled the pass and had 2 feet down inbound. First down, Jacksonville. Pittsburgh is charged with their first team timeout.
Key point is here, when Jones gets control there, right toe, then left foot. So just by an eyelash, but a grab. And the call on the field stands.
Very good news for me because I have Matt Jones in fantasy tonight and I need these yards. Good for me and good for Matt Jones.
And Matt Jones is learning to become a wide receiver. Let us not forget about the quarterback he was at Arkansas, and last year was a transition year for him. We saw Jimmy Smith earlier in the quarter. Jimmy Smith had the opportunity to act as a mentor to Matt Jones in his second year, Ernest Wilford in his third, and Reggie Williams in his third. They benefited tremendously from just having that 1 year under Jimmy.
Took 38 minutes and 6 seconds. But here's the first snap inside the red zone tonight at the 19. And Taylor to the 14, pursuing Larry Foote, made the tackle.
I think the heat is making a difference, Mike. The Pittsburgh Steelers look like they're wearing down a little bit. It looks like the big bodies of Jacksonville's offensive linemen are getting on the linebackers a little bit. They can't shed them as easily. Fred Taylor doing a terrific job running north and south when he gets the opportunity.
To that end, they practiced in heat, simulated heat practicing indoors so that they'd be able to take this.
I don't know if that worked.
Leftwich lost the snap, got it back, goes forward, and is able to make it a positive play. SportsCenter 30-30 before the third down. Here's John Butcher-Cross.
The Mets win the NL East for the first time since 1988. They beat the Marlins 4-0. Jose Valentin, 2 home runs. Meanwhile, Terrell Owens had his finger surgery tonight. A titanium plate was screwed into his broken right ring finger. The Cowboys are confident he'll be ready for the Philadelphia game October the 8th. SportsCenter's after Monday Night Football. Michael?
Thank you, Butch. David Pollock, Cincinnati, out for the year. Javon Curse, Philadelphia, out for the year. All the NFL injury updates coming up as well. 3rd and 4 in field goal range. Cannot afford a turnover. Pressure coming. Leftwich gets rid of it, and it's incomplete. Full-out heat was brought. Larry Foote, who's been everywhere here tonight. It's an inside linebacker kind of game, and he forces 4th down.
What a call by Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator of the Steelers. Right up the middle. Here they come. You can only block one. That's all you can do. The right guard has got to be able to take the guy closest to the quarterback and the one that can create the most damage. That would have been Larry Foote.
Good kicker in Josh Scobie, third-year man out of Louisiana Tech. From 31 for the game's first points. Sneaking it in the upper right corner. Party like it's the 4th of July. Somebody scored.
The Champions Tour presents the 2006 3M Championship. For the 6th consecutive year, the TPC Twin Cities hosted the event. Entering the final round, rookie David Edwards trailed the leader by 3 strokes, and after bogeys on the opening 2 holes, he fell 5 shots behind. But Edwards found his game and made 6 birdies in the final 11 holes to win his first title since his win on the PGA Tour in 1993, a victory drought spanning 13 years. Edwards won in only his 11th start on the Champions Tour and moved into the top 10 in the season-long Charles Schwab Cup race. His career largest paycheck also moved him into the top 10 on this year's Champions Tour money list. Congratulations, David Edwards, winner of the 2006 3M Championship.
First scoring drive of the night for Jacksonville. 11 plays, couple of first down passes. 2 Fred Taylor runs of 4 and 14. Then Maurice Drew came in for a few runs. The big completion to Matt Jones, getting him down there for the field goal by Josh Scobie, a 31-yarder. First points of the game tonight. Deep kick. It will be returned by Santonio Holmes. Brought down shy of the 15 by Montel Owens. Get a good special teams night for Jack Del Rio's squad as well. Another long field for Big Ben and the Steelers, trying to answer the Jaguars' field goal.
W.G. Grace is regarded by all as the founding father of the game of cricket. Born in 1848, his skill and ability with the bat and ball elevated him above every other player of his generation and made him the most well-known figure of his era. He's credited with creating the modern batting style of bat and pad and is seen as the starting point for general cricket technique. Already a legend in the domestic game, he was 32 years old before making his Test debut in 1880. And among his many achievements, he would go on to make the first ever Test century. A pioneer, visionary, and player of great skill, W.G. Grace is the foundation on which the game of cricket has been built. Don't miss the series, The Legends of Cricket, on ESPN.
Well, that Jacksonville field goal takes out of the equation a scoreless tie. Hasn't been a scoreless tie in the NFL since during World War II. November 7, 1943, Giants-Lions at Briggs Stadium. That's the original name of Tiger Stadium in Detroit.
I needed to know that.
Roethlisberger from his own 14. Incomplete, intended for his tight end Heath Miller, who had the long touchdown last week.
This is what I want to see in the second half of the game is Ben Roethlisberger. He looks like he's in fine shape. It doesn't look like fatigue is a factor. It doesn't look like endurance. We've seen him take some hits. Got the big sack by John Henderson in the last drive. I'd say Ben's back.
The Steelers tonight have run 27 plays. They have 84 yards. And Heath Miller had an 87-yard touchdown on one play last week against Miami. Then back to the air. Incomplete. The Cedric Wilson flag comes in. Sheen Mathis there on coverage.
If you are a sports writer right now and you've had nothing to write for the entire first half and much of the third quarter.
Defense, number 27. Automatic, first down.
You're now sitting at the typewriter, tapping out a lead, saying to yourself, Pittsburgh can't score. They can't advance the ball. You're right, and Jacksonville can win.
Called pass interference, but there could have been a major face mask just the same, as he completely denied Wilson the chance to see the ball. Smart crowd gets louder as Roethlisberger changes the play. High throw. Incomplete. Two receivers in the same area, and Ben almost saw it go back the other way.
The thing that I am observing about Ben Roethlisberger is he doesn't look as comfortable throwing the football as I saw him throw it last year. It looks like he's trying to muscle it out a little bit. It just doesn't look that comfortable. The ball's been high a few times. It's been into the ground. He's nowhere near as accurate as he normally is.
You said he was back 2 plays ago.
He's healthy to be able to play, not at the level that he has to play.
Pressure off the edge. The screen goes that way with Willie Parker. Peterson chases him down, but couldn't get to him. Donovan Darius does. Gain of 3.5.
Talked about Mike Peterson and the way he plays behind those big guys up front, the lateral movement, the pursuit outside. We know Willie Parker can run. Just about gets him out of bounds. And Donovan Darius decides to put the exclamation point on.
Is this the furthest the Steelers have been in the second half offensively?
Yes.
This is as far as they've ever been, and they're on the 35.
Their first 3 possessions, or their last 3 possessions, the 28-yard line was as far as they've gotten their own.
5 in the pattern. Veron Haynes is the one brought down. Cousin and Smith. 4th down. This defense has been phenomenal tonight.
Just an incredible job of Mike Smith, their defensive coordinator, positioning his defensive guys to be in places to be able to make plays. It was going to go to the running back. They had the 2 linebackers close and cut him off.
So this possession, like every Pittsburgh possession tonight, ends in a punt.
Everyone?
7th one. Chris Gardocki kicking to Alvin Kierman. Punt of 46 yards, fair caught at the 15-yard line. So Ben Roethlisberger is back 15 days after the appendectomy, the motorcycle accident in June, but there's been some frustration induced by the Jacksonville defense.
As another season comes to an end, the 162-game marathon is giving us a great dash towards the finish line. But this is only the beginning. The best is yet to come as they get ready to play in October. Major League Baseball, Wednesday live on ESPN.
September is always a month to remember for sports fans around the world on ESPN. The UEFA Champions League begins the quest for the ultimate prize of European football with match days 1 and 2. The hard-hitting action of American football gets the regular season underway with the NFL on ESPN. Racing fans can look forward to action from the top open-wheel drivers of the IndyCar Series. The PGA Tour continues showcasing the top golfers of the world. You have to know when to hold them and when to fold them. Sitting with the high rollers of the 2006 World Series of Poker. ESPN goes to Italy to showcase some of the great clubs and traditions of Italian football. And Spanish football returns to ESPN for another great season of the Stars. It's great sports this September on ESPN.
ESPN continues with the coverage of the toughest league in the world, the Italian Serie A. This Wednesday, Siena takes on Torino team determined to conquer all 3 points. It's Torino against Siena. This Wednesday, live on ESPN.
The National Football League returns to New Orleans. A monster night. Undefeated Falcons, undefeated Saints. The anticipation of getting the NFL back. Look, there are a lot more important things going on in New Orleans. People try to get their lives back, but the Saints are a symbol for that entire Gulf Coast region, and you can only imagine what it's going to be like as you look live at the Superdome, where we will be 1 week from tonight.
Chance to change the memory of the last time you saw the Superdome as a refugee place to what it was originally intended to be, a football place.
Jacksonville back on the field. Fred Taylor has run well here in the third quarter. Only a yard there to the 16. Tony, you mentioned it, the 20,000 storm victims from Hurricane Katrina that last weekend in August who took refuge in the Superdome. Everything has been redone in the Superdome. A $185 million renovation. New seats, locker rooms. A lot of things were obviously damaged once the hole in the roof was there. The roof has been redone, and that place is ready to show off that American flag there. Very symbolic, and it will be an emotional as well as a joyful Monday night.
That was a sad sight for millions of Americans to have seen that. This will be a much more pleasant circumstance.
2nd and 9, the toss to Reggie Williams. Good play by Clark Hagans, who had his first career interception earlier in this game. Joe, Jacksonville's offense got something going on the last drive after being frustrated in the first half by the Steelers. Moving it down the field to get that field goal. Third and 10. Polamalu drops back in coverage as Leftwich comes to the other side to Matt Jones. First down.
People tend to think that Byron Leftwich, all he can do is throw the football hard. He showed you right then and there what happens when you put a little touch and trajectory on the ball. Takes a little bit off it. He got one picked off at that length before. Matt Jones does a real nice job of understanding where the sidelines is. Hard to push him around. He's 240, runs 4.3. So if a defensive back at 190 wants to shove him around a little bit, doesn't really knock him off his route.
All 3 of Jones's catches tonight, first downs. Deep drop, Leftwich. Big hose of an arm, complete for the first down. Right back to Matt Jones, the guy who caught 4 consecutive passes last week against the Cowboys.
We talked to him the other day because he's a converted quarterback. He was going to play wide receiver in the pros. We asked him how high did he think he would go? Did he think he'd go in the first round? He said, how many 6'6", 4.3s have you seen? You ain't seen that many. So it didn't come as a shock to him he'd be drafted high.
He figured in the top 35. After he performed at the Senior Bowl, he felt like he proved a lot of things to a lot of people.
That's George Reister, the tight end, in there as the lead blocker. And Taylor spins around toward midfield before being brought down by Casey Hampton. Cower, a visit with Ike Taylor.
The big thing that the Pittsburgh Steelers wanted to do was try and get to Byron Leftwich's feet. They're not. Look at the stride that he takes. The width of that stride. Wonderful job by the offensive line, giving him a chance to be able to step into his throws. He's feeling no pressure. That means that Brad Meester and the 2 guards are doing their job to keep the pressure off him.
Taylor and his 68 rushing yards to the bench. Rookie Maurice threw in. Jones again. So that is 5 receptions, 5 first downs. 2/3 of his receptions last year were for first down.
Huge night again for me and fantasy.
Yeah, you're doing
I've got
well,
Matt
Tony.
Jones.
You
He's
and Matt
alive for me.
Jones. You and Matt Jones doing well. What I like is the route selection. You throw a couple of outs. You get the corners playing outside a little bit. And then what you do is you run them on a post on the inside.
Jacksonville 130 yards in the first half, 135 yards in the quarter. Bill Cowher's team only had 16 yards in the third quarter. The Super Bowl champs down 3-0.
You want game? This fall, ESPN Game Plan has up to 150 extra college football games. team matchups and rivalries from major conferences. All available when you order your exclusive ESPN Game Plan pay-per-view package. It's maximum college football.
Get full access to live college football games online with ESPN's Game Plan. To order Game Plan, go to espn.com and search Game Plan.
Italian football on ESPN.
Off we go to the fourth quarter in Jacksonville. Susie Culver, Michelle Tafoya on the field. Mike Tirico, Joe Theismann, Tony Kornheiser in the booth. 3-0 for the Jaguars, and an opportunity here in these 15 minutes.
Yeah, they have a largely unknown team, largely unknown coach, largely unknown city. They beat Dallas in the first week, all right, America's team. If they come out here on Monday Night Football and beat the defending Super Bowl champions, they are building their history in front of your eyes. And nobody would be able to say, who's ever heard of them? What have they done before?
Quarter starts with 1st and 10 from the 41. And a Taylor run into the line. He'll get less than a yard on that carry.
Not to put the cart before the horse, but next week they have Indianapolis.
They do.
Oh, they're killer. Their early season schedule, Dallas home, Pittsburgh home, at Indianapolis, at Washington, is a killer schedule. You would look at that before any game started, and you said they'd be great to get out 2-2. But what if they could go better than that? Then suddenly they would not be lightly regarded or unregarded. They'd be one of the favorites to go deep in the playoffs.
Well, you said it. They were 12-4. I don't think you can regard any 12-4 team lightly.
But coming into this season, they were.
Taylor runs to the 37-yard line. Let's not forget, and I agree with you that that's true in the current NFL, where Jacksonville's accomplishment and ability, it's taking a while for people nationally to come around to. Let's not forget what Tom Coughlin did. This franchise went to 2 AFC championships in its first 5 years. They did the unheard of. They got to the AFC title game in their 2nd year of existence. So Jacksonville put itself on the difference is Carolina got to the Super Bowl.
Went to the Super Bowl.
So the perception long-term changes a little bit. Third and a half dozen. Matt Jones is at the bottom of your screen. He's a first down machine. Leftwich goes to the other side for Wilford. Incomplete. Fourth down from here, a field goal would be 54 yards, right at the edge of Scobie's range.
Yeah, Scobie made 2 out of 3 last year.
His career long is 53 yards, including a game winner at Indianapolis in 03.
This is a percentage move by Jack Del Rio. The way your defense is playing, you've kept Pittsburgh backed up all night. Why not just punt them back? But don't kick it in the end zone.
And as we mentioned, Chris Hansen was the best NFL punter in terms of downing teams inside the 20 last year. Done it a couple of times here tonight. And on the fly, it was attempted to be caught by Scott Starks, who was blocked. And that is legal, so there's no interference question there. It's a touchback. The Steelers take over at the 20. So a Cowher's emotion, the emotion of linebacker, former linebacker, now pretty darn good coach in Jack Del Rio.
Tradition lives here. Pride lives here. College football lives here all season long on ESPN.
ESPNSoccerNet.com, your home for anything and everything from the world of soccer, is now available on your web-enabled phone. For up-to-the-minute news and live scores from all your favourite teams and leagues from around the world, just go to ESPNSoccerNet.com/WAP on your web-enabled phone. It's like having ESPN SoccerNet in your pocket. ESPN SoccerNet on any web-enabled phone. Bookmark the address and log on today.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by HDTV, powered by DLP. It's amazing. It's the mirrors. The all-new Mazda CX-7, the SUV you never saw coming. Walmart. Always low prices, always. And NFL.com. Log on and watch all the highlights from every NFL game this season. It's all on NFL.com.
Aerial coverage here tonight brought to you by Goodyear. Good to have the Goodyear blimp in Jacksonville. Steelers start from their own 20 after the touchback. Willie Parker's run is a gain of a couple of yards.
Mike.
Darryl Smith's there on the tackle.
The previous 4 possessions, the Steelers have had the ball. 14 offensive snaps, 37 total yards. That's the job that this Jacksonville defense has been able to do.
Do you think they miss, in circumstances like this, a Jerome Bettis, a power runner who could make yards straight ahead?
No, he wouldn't make yards against the big guys in the middle.
Second and 8, back to Parker. Hines Ward tried to help give him a crease to block, but nowhere to go. And those big guys are Big Hen, John Henderson, and Marcus Stroud, and Mike Peterson, the middle linebackers.
Now remember, they lost Reggie Hayward, who really was coming on as a sacker, a defensive end, and they've had to make some adjustments up front. But you look at them penetrate the line of scrimmage. You look at the linebackers get outside and make plays. Darryl Smith that time, turning Willie Parker back into the pursuit.
Hayward, the defensive end, ruptured his Achilles against Dallas last week. Pressure, Verron Haynes picked it up. Roethlisberger throws to Ward, complete for the first down.
Those are the kind of catches an MVP of a Super Bowl makes. Hines Ward makes this play. Great adjustment on the ball. Ball's in the air, reaches back where the defender Brian Williams is coming from, goes around his head and makes the play. Big third down.
Second third down conversion of the night for Pittsburgh. Second grab for the Super Bowl 40 MVP and the 4-time Pro Bowler Ward.
Now you have to be conscious of the play action.
There it is. Ben is flushed and throws incomplete for Ward. Rasheem Mathis, the coverage. Michelle Tafoya.
Well, finally, a highlight for Hines Ward, just his second catch of the night, and we have watched him in frustration here on the sidelines. I can tell you, he's been looking at the photos of these plays of the Steelers offense tonight on the bench, and more than once I have seen him look at those photos and shake his head as if he's seeing hard evidence of mistakes and missed opportunities. Shaking his head in frustration, maybe a little of that relieved by that second catch, Mike.
Good point, Michelle. Second and 10. Parker gets to the edge. The speed of Deion Grant, who Dave Campo, the former Dallas Cowboys head coach for 3 seasons, and now the secondary coach here with the Jaguars, told me on the field before the game, Deion Grant is the smartest defensive back I've ever had. That kind of praise for the 7th-year man out of Tennessee who used to play for the Carolina Panthers. After Parker's longest run of the night, 8 yards, it's 3rd and 2. Jaguars need a timeout. Third down coming up. 4 minutes into the 4th.
The Champions Tour presents the 2006 3M Championship. For the 6th consecutive year, the TPC Twin Cities hosted the event. Entering the final round, rookie David Edwards trailed the leader by 3 strokes, and after bogeys on the opening 2 holes, he fell 5 shots behind. But Edwards found his game and made 6 birdies in the final 11 holes to win his first title since his win on the PGA Tour in 1993, a victory drought spanning 13 years. Edwards won in only his 11th start on the Champions Tour and moved into the top 10 in the season-long Charles Schwab Cup race. His career largest paycheck also moved him into the top 10 on this year's Champions Tour money list. Congratulations, David Edwards, winner of the 2006 3M Championship.
I used to be a chiropractor. I had to give it up because of a problem with my hands. I started playing poker pretty seriously. My wife said, why not give it a go at the World Series? Sometimes I still can't believe I'm the reigning world champion of poker. My name is Joe Hasham. Who's next?
Third down and a couple out of the Jacksonville called timeout. This crowd will be tired tomorrow. Worker productivity in Jacksonville will be down because they've been up all night.
They'll sleep here.
Veron Haynes in motion. Peterson, the middle backer, went with him. Roethlisberger, one-on-one. Cedric Wilson deflected away by Rasheem Mathis.
You get to the point, you don't like to use a word like futility, but Pittsburgh got a big boost by having Ben Roethlisberger start the game. Big emotional lift. They have not been able to move the ball all night long. They had the greatest run of any playoff team ever last year, and we are not used to seeing them unable to move at all. Right at the point where you say futility with this team.
Which ought to speak volumes for the Jacksonville defense.
Sure.
Guard Ducky, the boot. Alvin Bierman at the 10. Now return to the 17-yard line. A third special teams tackle for James Harrison, and a couple of the penalty markers came into the back end of the play.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 58. 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Hines Ward trying to keep his defense going. Pittsburgh's story tonight, 8 possessions, 8 punts, 7 first downs, no points.
As another season comes to an end, the 162-game marathon is giving us a great dash towards the finish line. But this is only the beginning. The best is yet to come as they get ready to play in October. Major League Baseball, Wednesday live on ESPN.
September is always a month to remember for sports fans around the world on ESPN. The UEFA Champions League begins the quest for the ultimate prize of European football with match days 1 and 2. The hard-hitting action of American football gets the regular season underway with the NFL on ESPN. Racing fans can look forward to action from the top open-wheel drivers of the IndyCar Series. The PGA Tour continues showcasing the top golfers of the world. You have to know when to hold them and when to fold them. Sit in with the high rollers of the 2006 World Series of Poker. ESPN goes to Italy to showcase some of the great clubs and traditions of Italian football. And Spanish football returns to ESPN for another great season of the Stars. It's great sports this September on ESPN.
It's been a while since the Steelers have lost. Of course, they went on the run to get into the playoffs and then win the road games. Have not been shut out since December of 3 seasons ago against the Jets. With Jacksonville backed up, will one of their familiar Pro Bowl defenders come up with a big play. From the 7. Fred Taylor tries the right side. Clark Hagan's James Farrier, the tackle.
We've seen so often in Pittsburgh Steelers football games, when they get a team backed up late in a game like this, somebody on that defensive side of the ball seems to come up with a big play. Saw Joey Porter do it against the Miami Dolphins 11 days ago when they played Miami. Troy Polamalu is another one that's come up. We've seen Larry Foote make some big sacks tonight. This is where the Steelers defense has to make a play for him.
Anchored by that big old 98, you saw Casey Hampton right over the center, Brad Meester. And Polamalu got his hand on it. It might be backwards as Williams picks it up. Was it an incomplete pass? Yes, it was. They now say on the far side that it was an incomplete pass.
That was almost the big defensive play you were looking for, because if he actually brings that in, he's got 2 steps into the end zone.
They're just not afraid to take a chance there. Dick LeBeau is not afraid to force the issue with you. He's not going to sit back and say, all right, we'll just play a little catch here. We'll stop you from running. He forces the issue. He's aggressive on the defensive side of the ball. And I like the fact that Jacksonville and Carl Smith, their offensive coordinator, no matter where he is, has stayed aggressive. You'd have to think that Matt Jones is a